Hello everyone, today we're going to look at how to solve some harder trigonometric equations. So we have the equation cos 3 theta equals 0.766. So what makes it harder is that instead of theta, we have a number before our theta, so we have 3 theta. So step 1, so we're always going to set our 3 theta equals to any letter. I'm just going to call it capital X to make it easy. So if we solve cos X equals 0.766, we can find our principal value for X. So this is cos minus 1. 0.766. So we know our principal value is 40.0. So we know our principal value is 40 degrees. Then remember that X is the same as 3 theta. So what we really happen to do is that we want the interval between theta is 0 and 360. But now we have 3 thetas. So 3 theta would be so we need to multiply the whole thing by 3. So 3 times 0 is still 0, then 3 times 360. So we have to find all the values that is between 0, and remember our 3 theta is the same as X. So the values for X, 3 times 360 is 1080 degrees. So we need to find all the values for cos that's between 0 and 1080. Then let's have a look. So firstly, I'm going to sketch my cos graph. So a little sketch of my cos graph. And I know, and the value I want to find is 0.766. So it's going to be those 2 points here. So it's going to be cross at here and cross here. So I know this value here is 40. And I know this value here must be, so this is 360. So since I'm going forward by 40, so this way I'm also going backward by 40 because the symmetrical property of my cos curve. So this point here must be 320. Because I do 360 minus 40. So this is going backward by 40. So it's 320. So I know my values on the first period is 40, 320. Then remember it repeats every 360 degrees. So 40 at 360 is 400. Then 320 at 360 is 680. Then it will repeat again. So at 400 at another 360 is 760. Then 680 at another 360 is 1040. So remember it repeats every 360 degrees. So as I know that this value is for 3 theta, so those are the values for X, which is also, so this is the values for my X, which is also the same as 3 theta. But what I'm really interested is in the values for theta. So how do we get from 3 theta to theta? We divide by 3. So we need to divide all those values by 3. It needs to be 40 divided by 3. 320 divided by 3. So from here to here, we need to divide everything by 3. So my values, if you can just type those into your calculator. So the values for your theta is 13.3 degrees, 107 degrees, 133 degrees, 227, 253, and 347. So why is the values like this? Because remember, this cos 3 theta. So this is making our graph, and this basically is just a stretch of our graph. So basically, this is just saying that we remember the 3 inside the bracket. This means that we have stretched the curve by the scale factor of 1/3 in the direction. So let's have a look. So this basically, a quick sketch would be something like this. So this is what our graph is going to look like. So remember this is our cos graph, but then we shrink it by 1/3. So from here it's 0, and this is 360. So let's look at question 2. So solve the equation 2 sin 2 theta equals to cos 2 theta. So again, we're always going to solve our equation to find our principal values. So we have 2 sin 2 theta equals cos 2 theta. So we're going to rearrange this to change that to. So we're going to divide both sides by cos 2 theta. So I have 2 sin 2 theta over cos 2 theta equals to 1. So remember, sin divided by cos becomes tan. So this simplifies to 2 tan 2 theta is equals to 1. Then I can find tan 2 theta. So tan 2 theta is equals to 1/2. Then again, what we're doing the same here is we always let 2 theta equals to x. Then we can solve to find our principal value. So we have tan x is equals to 1/2. Therefore, our x must be our x is the same as 26.6. So this is my principal value. So again, so remember what we said before. So we have our x. So we have theta is in this value, so 0 and 360. But this time we have 2 theta. So we got to multiply the values all by 2. So 2 times 0 and 2 times 360. Therefore, the values for 2 theta is between 0 and 720. And remember, 2 theta is the same as your x. So we need to find all the values for x between 0 and 720. So let's do a quick sketch of a tan curve. So remember, it repeats every 180. This is 180. So it repeats every 180 degrees. So this is 540 and 720. So this is a sketch of my tan graph. So what I have found out, my principal value is 26.6. And this is, so what I'm interested is when tan is a half. So let's say this point is a half. So I'm interested in all those points here. So I know my first point here is 26.6. So it repeats every 180. So I'm going to add 180. So I know this point here is 206.6. Then I know it repeats 180, so I need to add another 180. So I know this point here must be 386.6. Then continue adding 180. So this point here is 566.6. And again, add another 180. This point here is 7. So this point is past 720. So we're not interested anymore. So those are the values I'm interested in. So my x are equals to 26.6, 206.6, 386.6, and 566.6. Then we know that x is equals to 2 theta. But what we only want to find out is what theta is. So we need to half all the values. So half of 26.6 is 13.3. So half 206.6 is 103.3. And half of 386.6 is 193.3. And half of 566.6 is 283.3. So remember, step 1, always find your principal values. Then sketch your graph, find your key points. Then remember to half to find your theta. So let's look at one more example. So this time we have the equation sin 2x plus 60 equals 0.3. And we are interested in 0 and 180. So remember step 1, always to find your principal value. So in this case, I'm going to use my x as 2x plus 60. So my x is going to equals to 2x plus 60. So I can solve to find the principal value for my x. So I have sin x is equals to 0.3. So x is equals to 17.5. So I know one of my principal value is 17.5. Then what I'm going to look at is, so this time, so I know, so the range I'm looking for is between, so I have x, now it becomes 2x plus 60. So what I need to do for both sides, I need to do the same. So I need to do the same to the 0. So I need to do 2 times 0 plus 60. And similarly here, so I need to do, so it's between 180. So I need to do 2 times 180 plus 60. So this is my x, capital X. So the values I'm looking for is between 60 degrees and 420 degrees. So again, this is my sine curve. So I'm going to sketch my sine curve. So this is 0, this is 1, this is minus 1. So it intersects at 180, 360, and $5.40. So, but the range what I'm interested is in the values between 60 and 420. So the first value I found is 17.5. So this is when it's equals to 0.3. So when it's equals to 0.3, I would say it's around here. So this is my first point, which I found out, but it's not in my range. So remember, this place here also has the same value. So if I move, so remember it's symmetrical. So if this part here is 17.5, so I must need to do from this part here. So I must use 180 minus 17.5, which is 162.5 degrees. So I know this point here is 162.5. So this point here is 17.5. And remember, it repeats every 360 degrees. So I can use my 17.5 at 360. And this is equals to 377.5. And remember, I can also use 162.5 at 360. Which gave me this point here. So this is 162.5 at 360, 522.5. And this is not in my range, so this value I do not want. So this point I just found out it's 377.5. So in this range, from 60 to 420, I only have 2 solutions. So my x could only be equals to 162.5 or 377.5. Then I was told that my x is the same as, so my x is the same as 2x plus 60. So we're going to solve the equation. So I have 2x plus 60 equals 162.5. So let's solve the equation. So I have 2x is equals to 162.5 minus 60 is 102.5. So x is equals to half of this is 51.25, or I could have 2x plus 60 equals to 3775, and solve this. I have therefore my x is equals to so I have my two solutions, 51.25 and 158.75 degrees. So let's just have a quick summary. So when we look at this type of question, we always substitute, so replacing this value be my x, then solve to find my principal value. Then I need to, that's step 1, to find my principal value by replacing what's inside the bracket to be my x. Then I'm going to find step 2 to find my range. So the question, always start with your question. So I have x is between 0 and 180. Then I'm going to look at what I have replaced my x. So what did I do to my x? So I have 2x plus 60, so this is my new value. So I need to do the same thing to both sides. So this is the new interval. So I need to multiply by my x by those two values. Then I find out my new range. Then I'm going to sketch my curve, then find out my values. That also give me the correct. Then step 3, so after I found my, so this is my step 3. So draw your graph, then find your key point. Then you step 4. You're just going to solve the equation. So you have 2x plus 60, which is equals to your first value, and your